Hello, friends. We are going to begin our November read aloud, which is The Three Cousins Detective Club, number 9, The Mystery of the Eagle Feather. This is written by Elsbeth Campbell Murphy and illustrated by Joe Nordstrom. In loving memory of my father-in-law, Howard R. Murphy, whose life was filled with love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Elizabeth Campbell Murphy, that's the author, has been a familiar name in publishing for over 15 years. And this was written in 1995. With more than 75 books to her credit and sales reaching 5 million worldwide, She is the author of the best-selling series David and I Talk to God and The Kids from Apple Street Church, as well as the 1990 Gold Medallion winner Do You See Me, God? A graduate of Trinity College and Moody Bible Institute. Elsbeth and her husband Mike make their home in Chicago, where she writes full-time. This is Chapter 1, Indian Stuff. "Wow, Tim," said Timothy Dawson's cousin, Titus McKay. "Your room looks like a giant lives in it. All your stuff is up so high." "It's Priscilla," said Timothy. "Trust me, if she can reach it, she'll wreck it. And she's just learning how to open doors." "She is so cute the way she does things," exclaimed Timothy's other cousin, Sarah Jane Cooper. Neither she nor Titus had a baby sister. Timothy didn't comment except to make a growling noise in the back of his throat. He didn't go around saying so, but he actually thought Priscilla was a sweet kid. The problem was, Priscilla thought Timothy was wonderful, and therefore she thought all his stuff was wonderful too. She was forever trying to get her sticky little toddler fingers on anything that belonged to her big brother. For some reason, she particularly liked his Indian stuff. Timothy had some neat Indian stuff. Some of it had come from a good friend of his, an Indian boy he had never met. Never in person, that is. But he and Anthony Two Trees had been writing letters to each other for almost a year now. And it all started as a project for school. Timothy's class had been studying American Indians, and Timothy had discovered that next to art, social studies was his favorite subject. His teacher had arranged to have the class write letters to a class of Native American kids. The other kids had each written one nice letter and gotten one nice letter back, and that was that. But Timothy and Anthony had discovered they had a lot in common. For one thing, they both liked baseball. For another thing, they both liked art. And when you put those two things together, you get decorated baseball caps. Timothy's was usually covered with metal slogan buttons, although sometimes he wore it plain. Anthony's was beaded. So they had kept on writing letters to each other. Timothy told Anthony about his cousins and how they had a detective club and solved mysteries. Anthony told Timothy about learning Indian dances and competing at powwows. Then, for his final social studies project, Timothy had made a model teepee from scratch with only a little help from his parents. Timothy had been tempted to paint pictures all over it, but he stopped himself. For one thing, he knew most teepees nowadays were left almost plain. For another thing, the shape of a teepee was so crisp and clean it didn't need a lot of decoration. So Timothy had controlled himself and just added a couple of touches. He painted a band of eagle feathers around the top. He painted a band of turtles around the bottom. And then, in honor of his friend, he painted 2 trees by the door flap. Timothy's model teepee was a work of art, if he did say so himself. Timothy's teacher said the teepee was exquisite and gave it an A+. Timothy sent Anthony a picture his father had taken of Timothy, Titus, and Sarah Jane around the A+ teepee. The picture had turned out to be funny, though. That was because you could see Priscilla off to one side, reaching out to grab the teepee. And you could see Timothy's mother's arm reaching out to grab Priscilla. Timothy wrote to Anthony that he knew Indians didn't live in teepees anymore. He enclosed a gift of special beads an artist friend had given him. Anthony wrote back to say that Indians did sometimes still live in teepees, for the weekend anyway, when they went to powwows. Anthony said Timothy's model teepee was just right. He especially liked the 2 trees by the door flap. And Anthony enclosed a picture of himself in his powwow outfit. He had put Timothy's beads in a position of honor in the center of his headband. Anthony had designed the outfit himself. His mother had sewn it, and Anthony had added most of the decorations. Enclosed with the letter was some genuine elk teeth and porcupine quills. "I wish you could come see me dance in person," wrote Anthony. "I wish I could too," Timothy wrote back. And that's how he got his great idea. I wonder what his great idea is. Chapter 2. An educational vacation. "A powwow," Timothy's parents had said when Timothy suggested it. "What a great idea! Very educational." Educational. It was the word the cousins had been hearing a lot lately. Earlier that year, the parents had all gotten together to plan their vacations. Now that Timothy, Titus, and Sarah Jane were 10, the parents had decided the cousins were old enough to go on vacation with one another. And now that the cousins were 10, the parents had decided that these trips should be educational, with a capital E. Means very important. "A powwow," the aunts and uncles had said. "What a great idea!" That's why Titus and Sarah Jane were at Timothy's house now. They were going out west with Timothy's family, and as part of the trip, they were going to visit a powwow to meet Anthony Two Trees. Titus and Sarah Jane wanted to see the model teepee up close again, so Timothy got out the step stool and got the teepee down. He wished he could take it to show Anthony in person, but there was no way to pack it so that it wouldn't get wrecked. Timothy showed his cousins the elk teeth and porcupine quills that Anthony had sent him. He showed them the picture of Anthony in his dance contest outfit. "So cool," said Sarah Jane. "I wish I had an outfit just like that." "Sorry, old pal," said Timothy, patting her shoulder. "Only men and boys can be grass dancers. But there are some neato contests for women and girls, too. I got a book out of the library that tells about powwows. You won't believe the costumes." He got the book off the shelf, and the cousins pored over the pictures, oohing and awing at the designs and colors. "Actually," said Timothy, correcting himself, "you're not supposed to call them costumes. The dancers aren't dressing up like anyone else. They're just wearing what they're supposed to wear for the kind of dance they do. There are some rules about what the different kinds of outfits are supposed to look like, but after that, the dancers can decorate their outfits any way they want to. In fact, the judges give points for the decoration, not just the dancing." It took Anthony hours and hours and hours to decorate his, but even so, he's just a kid with a kid's outfit. He says the really professional dancers have outfits that are worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Said Titus as if he was thinking it over. "I don't think I have quite that much spending money. But didn't you say there will be booths where we can buy some great Indian stuff? I know exactly what I want to buy." "What?" asked Timothy and Sarah Jane together. "An eagle feather," declared Titus. "Just like the ones Anthony is wearing on his head." "Sorry, old pal," said Timothy, patting him on the shoulder. "There is no way you can buy an eagle feather." "Why?" asked Titus. "Too expensive?" "No," said Timothy. "It's against the law." "What?" asked Titus. "You mean because eagles are an endangered species?" "Bingo," Timothy replied. "The only people who can own eagle feathers are Indians, and even they can't buy them. They get them free from the government. When an eagle dies in the wild or in the zoo, the feathers are stored away. Indians can write and ask for eagle feathers to use on ceremonial outfits, but they can't sell the feather or use them away or give them away to non-Indians like us." "So," said Titus, "those really fancy outfits with eagle feathers all over them, even if you had $1 bazillion, you couldn't buy one." "Not legally," said Timothy. "That means it's against the law if you do." "Well, what do you know?" said Titus with a heavy sigh. "I'm crushed. But at least I can say I learned something new today." Sarah Jane groaned. "This trip is so educational, we're learning stuff before we even get out of the house." It sounded like grumbling from his cousins, but Timothy knew it wasn't. Titus and Sarah Jane loved the powwow idea as much as his parents and aunts and uncles did. It made you feel pretty important to have everyone love your great idea. But it could also make you feel a little nervous, Timothy realized, because what if it didn't work out? What if something went wrong? "Relax," Timothy told himself. "Going to a powwow is a great idea. What can possibly go wrong?" Do you think something's going to go wrong? Let's think about that title. The Mystery of the Eagle Feather. We know they're detectives who solve mysteries. Think it over. And we'll pick up with chapter 3 all at the powwow.